Hello fellow bored crypto traders, let's analyze the markets. I must say the markets have looked better in the past. Over the last 7 days we've had hardly any movement on most assets. You can see XRP's dropped quite a bit. It's not something I normally trade. A little bit of movement on some of the other coins on the weekly, but generally over the weekend we've had close to nothing. I mean, you take a look at Bitcoin over here and this is some of the lowest volatility I have ever seen. And while we've had a few big moves, in general, it's mostly been extremely low volatility. So what do we do during these periods and how do we profit? Well, when volatility is so low, if you don't already have a profitable system, this is not what you want to be doing. The number one best use of your time is going to be hopping on my Telegram. It's 100% free. And starting to work through the educational materials I have. Start with the roadmap to profitable trading, how you go from zero to learning how to profitably trade, everything you need to know about technical analysis, risk management, leverage trading, even some fundamental analysis. The reason it is such a good time to study right now is because the opportunity cost is so low. With the market barely moving, you're not really missing out on that much money. If anything, you're probably saving money because if you're not reasonably skilled, you're losing money in these conditions. Now, for those of you who have your skills down and are looking to trade, let's start with Bitcoin and then I'll talk about a few altcoins that you could be paying attention to. So Bitcoin is between the 100-day moving average and the 30-day moving average. These are really going to be the key levels. If we just continue sideways here, this is going to slowly come down, sync up with the 29.5K, and this is already here synced up with the 28.5K. So these are two key levels I'll be watching, and I won't be taking any trades on Bitcoin, most likely between these two levels. Once we do get a break in either direction, I expect a reasonable amount of continuation, simply because volatility has been suppressed for so long. Even though this is technically a return to range, I will be expecting a move heading towards the midpoint, about 30.5, so try catch some of that movement there. And then towards the downside, if we lose this level, I expect quite a sharp fall to 27.2K over here. That will be my next breakdown target. Now, personally, I prefer us going up than down because I know my system and I know the most money I can make is the breakout above this 31.5K level. That's a lot more exciting and it also gives us a lot more room to come down. So you make more money on the way up and on the way down. So that's what I'm paying attention to on Bitcoin. There are a couple more altcoins that you could be looking to trade. So while not amazing, Solana has had some decent moves and there are a few levels you can pay attention to for significant breakdowns or breakups. Let's go to the 4-hour. Simply because it's so low volatility, we want to pay attention here. So one key level really stands out to me, and that's about 22.5 over here, synced up with where we got our original huge breakout over here. Notice when it comes to key levels, I like to look for levels where previously we see big, large moves. This shows significant psychological significance and actual significance to whatever level you're watching. And then here you can see it acting as support, price goes up, and then we could potentially get a breakdown here. Analyzing the market structure, we had an isolated wick there, so pay attention to the $32 level over there, but you can average it out if you want to look at that as a bit of anomaly, as this will be the main breakout level, about $29 over here. And then you've got the market structure here, looking something like this. You could argue maybe a couple levels over there, but this is the general play. So if we do get a break above 23.5 and this moving average here, then we've got room to go to about 25.5. This gives us about 8% to play with, which really isn't bad at all. Of course, pay attention to the 100 moving average on the 4-hour. That's reasonably significant. And if we just zoom out to the 1 day to see how these levels stand, they look pretty good. We've got this high level over there, break up above here, pay attention to the 30-day moving average and how it interacts with that. And then we've got our second target, 25.3. If it continues, look for synergies on, say, Bitcoin for this sort of move up. Then the move down is the much easier play, where we can start heading down to about 21.5 and maybe even test this 100-day moving average, start heading down towards the $20. So again, the downside looks pretty good. And if Bitcoin breaks down, you could look for confluence and a synergistic play to take on Solana as well. I never make content for the sake of making content. That is what I'm actually watching, what I'm interested in. And I'll drop any important updates in my Telegram. If you're not in there already, it's the place to be where you'll get the most consistent content from me.